button first. Okay, here we go. So, hey everyone, we will start with the demos as always, and then we will do an Azure presentation and we move on to the issues. So, Tommy will take charge of doing the demos and then we continue.
All right, so Uda and Jonah, or is it Uda and Uda and Querax? Can we please have your demo, your presentation?
Yep, all right. I will start first with explaining our issue.
Okay.
So just
Huda, just a quick note. Jonathan and I were talking before we start, before you joined us, and seems like there is some kind of a bug in production. So it happens when you first. I guess it will happen only if it's the first time you add in an item. So I think it would be better if you demo from your local machine or your branch rather than production, just until we fix this issue.
So if I already have items, no problem.
I guess so. That's just my guess, but I guess that's it.
Because
so
I've
we can
been
try.
testing it.
Yeah, we can try.
Just, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Our issue was to add a checkbox to the list items so they can be checked when the item is purchased, and it will uncheck itself after 24 hours of purchase. So I will start with this. Users need a UI that allows them to mark that their item has purchased, so they can track what on their list they do or do not need to buy. Acceptance criteria. The list item component renders a checkbox with a semantic label. Checking off the item in the UI also updates the date, last purchase, and the total purchases properties on the corresponding Firebase document. The item is shown as checked for 24 hours after the purchase is made. Here we assume that the user does not need to buy the item again for at least 1 day. After 24 hours, the item unchecks itself so the user can buy it again. The update item function in the Firebase has been filled out and sends updates to the Firestore database when an item is checked. So I will demo it now. So I will check the items. So let's do just one. When I check it, you cannot uncheck it. It will uncheck itself after 24 hours, but I will make it as we, let me just move this. As we bought it yesterday. So it will be 24 hours from that. So now you see we added this, the value checked, and it's true now, but I will move it a day prior. So in the 7th, and I will do 40. So we'll just wait for 40. And when we reload the page here, it will uncheck itself here and change here. And the value checks to false. So the user can recheck it again after 24 hours. So yeah, we will move now to the code.
Yeah, I will share my screen. Okay, can you see?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, okay, great. Well, so as Huda was explaining, the first thing that we did was to add this checked field to Firestore. So we won't know when the item was checked or unchecked. And so then from the list component, we accessed the item checked property and we passed it down to each item. with this is checked. And so once we had the is checked here, we would pass it down to our list item. In order to meet all of the requirements for the acceptance criteria, we had the label, we added the input of type checkbox, and we gave it the value of this variable that we pulled from Firestore, both to the checked and disabled attributes. And then we created an onChange function. What this onChange function does is check the value of the checked. So it checks what the data is that is stored on Firestore. And depending on what it is, then it just flips it, right? So then it updates the item using this function that's on the Firebase file. And then we use a use effect to constantly check on every reload whether the 24 hours have passed since the date that it last changed. And if it has been 24 hours, then we invoke the function again to change the check value and uncheck it automatically, as Huda showed. We also had to complete this update item function in Firebase. I think this was the trickiest part. Both the use effect to automatically uncheck after 24 hours and this Firestore interaction was tricky. But essentially what we are doing is whenever we invoke it, we modify these specific fields. So we switch the checked to the opposite of what it was. We up the total purchase by 1, and we update the date last purchase to the moment that the user has clicked. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. We added try catch, so we won't know if there was something that went wrong. And another little detail is that in order to calculate whether the 24 hours had passed or not, we actually pulled this variable from the dates util because it's already stored here, and we knew how many milliseconds are in a day because it's not something that we knew off the top of our heads, unfortunately. Yeah, that's it.
Well done, guys. You guys did a great job. Reda, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I have just a small note, and I already said this during office hours to Jonathan and Huda, but usually when you are working with dates, you don't wanna manipulate them like this by yourself, but it's always better to use a library. So there is date FNS. I will link it here in the chat.
It's FNS.
Yeah, date FNS. So it's they handle many situations and many. So it's better to use a library than keep converting them to milliseconds. Another thing is if you don't mind sharing your screen again, Geralt. I guess I found where's the
Oh,
bug coming from.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Magic.
So there in the line 16 on the left screen, in the use effects, yeah, there. So the date purchased is not always there, I guess. It's not always when you first add an item, the date purchased is not there. So when you are trying to access the 2 millisecond, it crashes.
Oh,
You're right.
So yeah, so a simple fix will be just to add what it's called. I can't remember, but the question mark. It's like the
Yeah.
conditional something after the
Is it the knowledge
yeah
quality?
You mean here?
yeah there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tommy.
Oh, yeah, not checker.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's it. Just to
All right. Should
while
I push this or open a new branch for the hotfix?
better maybe just do like a new branch, small branch, very small, just like a fix bug or something, and then merge it. Better than pushing to the main directly.
Yeah, okay. So I will, well, I'll create one later and add the small fix.
All right,
Uh,
all right, great.
yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
All right, it's us then. Hi everyone. I'm gonna talk about the issue, which was a very small issue, I felt, compared to you guys' one. All props really goes to Jonathan, but he did most of the work. I just helped him a little bit. So I'll
Uh,
share.
Sorry, Marcia, I forgot to
Yeah,
ask. How are you, by the way?
yeah, I'm all right. This is like the second day that I don't feel the pain anymore, and I have more energy. I'm not sleeping.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great
Still
to
no
hear.
solid food, but it's getting there.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Um, let's share. Can you see this? Yeah. So our issue was number 8. As the user, I want to see a welcoming prompt at my first item. If I have an empty list, so that will better help orientate. Um, then basically the only acceptance criteria was that just to give them a prompt. Uh, but sometimes it's quite hard to understand where you are in the app. But I guess that's for future development and other issues we can add. But I'll just show you how it works for now. So I have this list from before, which was my list. There's a couple of things in it, so there won't be any prompt. And if I then click on this one, which is a new one, you will see here the prompt to start adding items and then the button. And then you can add an item here. And yeah, then it will show the successfully added as before. And you can see here, again, it will show up on the list. That was basically all we had to do. We did discuss, I think, different ways of how we could show the prompt. But for now, we decided to go with this one because Jonathan had some other. There was another implementation, yeah. But for now, we decided to do it like this. But Jonathan will talk you to the code, and yeah, we can work on it further.
Yeah, so can everyone see what's going? Right, can everyone see?
Yes.
Yeah, just in reference to what Marcia said there, what we debated was adding an image basically, which would show essentially just how to fill out this on the manage list. So it was just a screenshot which would look like that, and then we debated adding it into there, but we decided against that because I'm not sure if it would look clear to the user if that was a screenshot or it was part of the actual list page. So if needs be, we could add that in future, but that's what we decided against for the time being. Yeah, so in terms of the code, we needed to add something in which would show if there was nothing on that shopping list. So we did data.length equals basically if it was empty as a conditional, and then if that was the case, then this would display. So we just had our paragraph there, just giving some sort of guidance to the user saying that they currently have no shopping items, and then to click below to add the items, and then below that we then got our button, which on click would then navigate to the manage list, and then within that it just then says start adding items. So just to give the user some sort of guidance as to what they need to do to then go onto the manage list page and then get started adding their items. So yeah, pretty simple one this week. So yeah, not too much to talk through.
Thank you everyone. Yeah, everything working great. You will fix the bug later. And we have now an agile presentation that's an agile presentation, but that was supposed to be done by Harris, so I'm not prepared. I'm totally not prepared, and it's not something in my expertise. So I guess it's better to to skip it for today, and I will do it during office hours or something like that, just to not give you false information or pretend that I know something that I don't. So unless Tommy has something to say about, we don't use it really in my day-to-day work. So if Tommy has any information about agile methodologies or something and she wanna share with us, that would be great. If not, we will just like keep it until
Agile?
office hours.
Is
Yeah,
it agile development?
yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I use where I
Yeah.
work.
If you have
So,
anything you wanna like share with Collabis,
so
that would be great.
the summary of agile development is we have front-end developers, we have back-end developers, we have the project managers, product designers, we have DevOps. So those 5 teams, they come together to build a particular product. Then, so for each, we run on each sprint. So we can have 2 weeks for a sprint. 2 weeks, at times it can be lesser, it can be more than 2 weeks for a sprint. So you release a feature, okay, maybe probably you're assigned a task, like, every week that you guys are being assigned tasks to work on. So when you work on these tasks, at the end of the task, everyone will sit down, will test and run everything. If it's fine, even if it's not fine, if there are still some bugs, if another sprint starts, you have to leave that one aside, then move on to complete. And aside, remember the product designer too will be working on their UI and UX, changing some certain things. So at times, if there is one particular a screen that you've been assigned to work on, they can still change the screen during the sprints based on what the customer wants or what the organization wants you to achieve. So it can be changed. Unlike waterfall, we have agile development and waterfall development. In waterfall, the product designers will start working on all the screens. They have to finish the screens before the engineers will now start working on it. But in agile, product designers can work on, they work simultaneously with engineers. Do you understand what I just said now? So that's what agile and waterfall development is all about. Please, do you guys understand, or should I come again?
Yeah, I guess so. It's basically like, I guess it's kind of what we are doing, but it's
Exactly.
yeah. So it's just like you are working to like it's doing everything in the same time, right? Like you are deploying
Yeah,
the app,
yeah,
designing the app, and in the same time
exactly.
working
At
on
the
the app.
same time.
So,
Unlike this waterfall, you have to like finish, the product designers will finish all the screens. So when the engineers start working on, they can't even change anything again because they've vetted everything, they've screened everything, the QA has gone through all their designs, and the company and organization have accepted it. So there's no going back. That's
okay.
waterfall. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
it's basically you implement the project management to work with CI/CD, continuous development, continuous integration, and you
No,
organize the project around that.
you do CI/CD, like
Yeah.
you do
It's
integration and
it
development.
was CI/CD is more focused on the development, And what
Yeah,
Agile
yeah.
does is everything surrounding the project, like Tommy said, right? UI UX and other teams. There's usually like a figure that will, like a product manager or a scrum master or something, that will be in
Yeah.
contact with the client or the customer. I
Yeah.
actually got certified for that.
Oh.
Yes.
That's nice. Okay, I see. Thank you all for the information. I'm sorry I wasn't able to do that because Harris gave me a late notice that he won't be able to join us. So I was like, oh no, what I will do about, yeah, but we will, don't worry, we will do it in the office hours. We will go through the slides during office hours. So we will move on to the issues, and that will be me who will be presenting the issues. Those are the last two issues, so congrats, you came along. So not the last issues, but I mean, functionality-wise, these are the last two issues. And I guess one of them is the hardest, so whoever will be tackling that, good luck. Give me just a second to find screen to share. No. I don't know why, but okay, here it is. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So these are the last two issues related to functionalities. I will start with this one. You still can see the whole screen, right? You can see the new tab that I just opened. Can you see the issue or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So as a user, I want to be alerted when I'm entering an empty item or an item that's already on my list. So user shouldn't be able to add an empty item to their list or add the same item to it. So if they try to do so, we need to show them an error message that explains the problem. This way we will prevent some clutter in their lists. So the acceptance criteria is we need to show an error message if the user tries to submit an empty item. And also we need to show an error message if the user tries to submit a new item that is identical to an existing name. For instance, if it contains apples and the user adds apples. Also, we need to show an error message if the user tries to submit new item that matches an existing name with punctuation and casing normalized. So we have an example here. So if he tries to enter, for example, apples with capital P or with capital L or whatever, and they have like apples without capital, then we need also to show an error. The user's original input is saved in the database. For this particular acceptance criteria, many people in the past has confusion about it, but you don't need actually to save it in the database because it's already there. The item is already in the database, so you don't need actually to save it, but you need to keep it in there. It needs to stay there. So you don't need actually to save anything. We just need to show the error that it exists. Still we have a note here. There are some couple of ways to approach the stack. If you are not sure how to begin, ask your mentors for advice. Of course, we are always here to help. So if you have any questions, please ask me. And that's it for this issue. And this issue will be Jonathan and Huda. So Jonathan. And what? All right. And we will move on to the next issue. So this issue is basically it's the main functionality of the application. So as an item, I want my estimated next purchase date to be computed at the time my purchase is recorded. So this is when you click the checkbox Geralt and Huda have implemented. And yeah, so in the database, so the app can learn how often I buy different items. So in order to advise user about when to purchase things, the app needs to be able to calculate that guess and store it in a future date. There is a function called calculate estimate from the Collab Lab shopping list utils model, and it will help us know how many days in the future a purchase should have. In order to use the calculate estimate, we need to know how many days have passed since the time the item was last purchased. Yeah, there is a lot of purchased. Acceptance criteria. So when the user purchases an item, the item's date next purchased property is calculated using the calculate estimate function and saved to the Firestore database. The date next purchased is saved as a date, not a number. And the get days between dates function is exported from the dates file and imported into the Firebase file. This function takes two JavaScript dates and return the number of days that have passed between them. So we have some notes here working with Firestore dates. So Firestore returns dates as special objects called timestamps, and that's what we worked with Buddha during office hours. Uh, that's why that's the object Firebase returns. So you will need to convert the timestamp to a JavaScript date in order to work with it and complete this feature. So the timestamp object has the toDate method, and you can check the Firebase docs to see all the methods available to you for the dates. And so calculating the time between JavaScript dates, comparing and manipulating JavaScript dates is not really usefully tricky. Here is a hint: all date objects have a getTime method that returns a representation of that date in milliseconds. Huda also, I guess, and Geralt also works with this in their previous issue. So you have this method for JavaScript objects, and you need to convert them to milliseconds before working with them. And here is calculating the next purchase date. So to calculate the next purchase date, you need to install this module. The shopping list utils module should already be installed. It's already installed, sorry. And this model exports the function calculate estimates. Calculate estimate accepts three arguments. They are in order: the previous estimate, which is the last estimated purchase interval, and the days since last purchase, and that's the number of days that have elapsed between the last purchase days and now. And you will need to figure out how to calculate this argument. So this second one needs to be calculated, and the total purchases which was implemented in the previous issue. Given this information, the calculate estimate returns a whole number indicating the number of days until the user is likely to make their next purchase. So that's our issue. I know it's a very, very long one. Do you have any questions? Yeah, probably not. But
No,
you
not
will
for
have.
me.
But you will have. I wanted to point some. Yeah, for this one, for this, it would be better to go to their documentation so you can be able to understand what it does exactly. Let me see if I can get it here. Open it in GitHub. Yeah, and you have here some. Yeah, you can go in and like just look inside to see how. No, not here. But anyway, yeah, this is our function calculate estimates. And so here there is some explanation, not explanation, but just how this function works. Maybe it will give you an idea how to work with the issue. I will send this in Slack later. And yeah, that's it for this issue. And the lucky ones are Marcia, I guess. Marcia and Geralt. Okay. Okay, that's it for the issues. And let me stop sharing my screen. I will, we finished much early this time because I didn't do the presentation. Sorry about that. And do you have any questions, anything you have in mind before we end our meeting? All right, if there aren't any questions, I guess, Geralt, will you be the one who's fixing the bug in production?
Yeah, I opened the PR.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Just please, either you or any one of you, if they could please test like different cases, like different edge cases, just to make sure everything is working. And if you have any questions, of course, you can send us a message in Slack, and I will let you know who will be doing the code review this week. And yeah, just small notes, please. When you finish your issue and open your PR, and when you assign in the reviewers, don't assign the mentor as well from the first time. So first, just assign the other pair, and when they give their feedback, then assign the mentor. So that way the mentor like knows that's the just so to avoid confusion, you know. Well, last week PR was merged directly because Tommy thought like the other pair already give their review. So yeah, that's it for our weekly sync, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.